The new MacBook Pros are here, and I'm really excited about them, especially the new 15-inch MacBook Pro, which I kind of promised to not even jokingly refer to as an iMacBook Pro. I'm excited because I didn't just get the regular old product briefing and hands-on time with the new displays and the new keyboards, and yeah, they're new keyboards. I mean, I got that, that's fine, it's good, but I also got a lot more. I got to spend a couple of hours talking to real pro photographers, scientists, video editors, music producers, and developers who have been living on these machines for a week or a couple already. I got to see live demos and hear all about if and how the new hardware had changed or improved their very demanding, very high-profile workflows. And that was legit awesome. So yeah, I'll have an in-depth review of my own as soon as I've spent some more time with the new MacBook Pro. But if you're considering hitting the buy button today, I wanted to help you make the best, most informed choice possible. First, there's no new 12-inch MacBook, no new 13-inch non-touch bar MacBook Pro either, and no new MacBook Air, at least not yet. What we're getting today are new versions of the 13-inch and 15-inch Touch Bar MacBook Pro. Second, the big news is, well, there's a lot of big news, but they're packing Coffee Lake processors. That's Intel's latest 8th generation platform. And yeah, Intel is still stuck in what feels like endless optimization cycles right now, but they're replacing the lack of process advances with a significant escalation in cores. The 13-inch has been upgraded to a quad core, which is great. There are options for i5 and i7 up to 2.7 GHz with turbo boost up to 4.5 GHz. That's paired with Intel Iris Plus integrated graphics 655 with 128 megabytes of EDRAM. The 15-inch Pro has Radeon Pro discrete graphics with 4 GB of video memory and a hexa-core processor with options for i7 and i9 up to 2.9 GHz and turbo boost up to 4.8 GHz. That makes it up to 70% faster, something environmental photographer Daniel Beltra said was notable to him. On his previous generation MacBook Pro, he'd start a complex project and then go get coffee. On the 2018 MacBook Pro, he'd start a complex project, get up, and discover it was already done. Great for work, bad for coffee. Lucas Gilman, who's been working on the gigapixel project Beauty and the Beast, joked that the new MacBook Pro was handling his current building size images with no problem at all, and he was looking forward to seeing how much further he could push it. Oak Felder, who's produced hit songs for Demi Lovato, Alicia Keys, Alessio Cara, and more, did a live demo for us. He took a music memo from one of his artists, loaded it into Logic Pro 10, and so fast my eyes could barely follow, he added all the accompanying tracks that ended up being part of the song, which is right now up in the top 20. On the previous generation, he said he'd hit the limit on effects at around 15 to 20% of the time. He hasn't hit it yet on the 2018 MacBook Pro. And he stressed the best thing you can do for an artist is to get the hell out of their way. And he said the new MacBook Pro was so fast, it was basically getting all the bottlenecks out of his way. It was the same with Spencer Ludwig, who produces his music on MacBook Pro and Logic Pro 10. He did a live performance with his trumpet while the MacBook Pro just handled everything else. Memory is the same on the 13-inch, up to 16 GB of high-efficiency LPDDR3, but the 15-inch now has the option for up to 32 GB of DDR4. Yeah, it's less energy efficient, but to compensate for that and for the power draw of the extra cores, Apple is increasing the size of the battery. You don't get any extra battery life, mind you, but you don't lose any either. It's still Apple standard 10 hours. Real talk, all design is compromised, and this is a smart one. Since Apple first announced the new MacBooks Pro, I've been hoping for a high-end SKU on the top, geared for people who really need maximum hardware, just like there's been a low-end SKU on the bottom for people who really just wanted the bare minimum. Now we're getting it, and I'm super happy about it. Developer Leah Culver, who made her fame with Pounce but is now working on Breaker, said she hadn't gone nuts on multiple concurrent simulators and VMs, though Apple did demo that for us, but that the responsiveness was still incredible. Likewise, student developer Akshaya Dinesh, who typically has a ton of apps running, including Unity, which she uses to create VR experiences, said it was amazing that she could do all of that at the same time. The 15-inch is also getting the option for up to 4 terabytes of solid-state storage. This is going to hurt the wallet, I'm sure, but it's also going to delight every on-the-go video editor who's been dreaming about ditching the external drive. Right here. In fact, that's exactly what Carlos Perez of Liquid Humans and his editor, who designed and edited Despacito, the record-breaking music video, seemed to love the most. Although they didn't have the new MacBook Pro when they made that video, of course, as soon as they got it, they loaded up all the original 5K RED footage into Final Cut Pro 10, and it all fit right on the internal drive. That meant no more external drives to worry about, no more proxy media, no more stutters or stammers when previewing things like color corrections. Janet Awaza, PhD biochem professor at University of Utah, said she models molecules in Maya and loved the new performance as well. Previously, she could only use her MacBook Pro to VNC into her workstation. Now she can do almost everything right on the new MacBook Pro itself. Apple T2 chips replace the T1 found in the previous models. In addition to taking over the Touch ID, Apple Pay, and other secure enclave tasks, they also handle real-time encryption, secure boot, and a lot of the controller functions. And yeah, it's really interesting to watch Apple ship portables with hybrid Intel and ARM architecture. Apple's uniquely positioned to do exactly that thing, and it kind of makes you wonder how far they'll be able to take it. More big news. True Tone is also coming to the 2018 MacBook Pro, and not just the main display, but to the touch bar as well. Now, yeah, honestly, I would have much preferred a Taptic Engine in the touch bar, but maybe next year. Just like on iPad Pro and iPhone X, a specially designed ambient light sensor constantly measures color temperature and adjusts the display so whites stay looking paper white and not fluorescent bluish white or incandescent yellowish white. And because the MacBook Pro already has individually calibrated and color managed DCI P3 displays, the result is terrific. Looking at it side by side with a 10.5-inch iPad Pro, it was almost identical, which is beyond impressive. Now, there's no edge-to-edge redesign, no OLED, no true depth cameras, at least not this year. Typically, iPad gets the big new tech first, and then it filters down to Mac. There is a new keyboard though, or rather newish. Is that big news? We'll honestly have to wait and see. It's a third generation butterfly and dome switch setup. That's not what scissor key aficionados are going to want to hear, but Apple still believes it's a better, more stable, more precise overall typing experience and is sticking with it. It has been re-engineered though, and while I'm sure, or at least I desperately hope, reliability will improve, the major focus was on reducing the loudness. That, according to Apple, has been the source of the most intense feedback about the new keyboards. And they're addressing it not just in volume, but in tone as well. Apparently the tone matters as much to human perception as the volume does. I've only had a few minutes typing time on the third generation Butterfly keyboard, but it is significantly less loud. It also feels punchier, like it's got more attitude when you're hitting it and it wants to kind of hit you back, but I'll be curious to see how it ages. Again, I vastly prefer the Butterfly keyboard to the old loosey-goosey scissor switch keyboards, but my preferences aren't everybody's preference, and Apple needs to keep a broad customer base happy here, so I'll be curious to see other people's impressions when they get their hands on it. Apple did tell me their Pro Workflows team, the Avengers originally assembled for the upcoming Mac Pro, did all have their fair share of input during the design process. So overall, the 2018 MacBook Pro is getting a huge boost in performance, especially at the top of the line 15-inch level. And I'm sure I'm not the only video editor positively drooling over the prospect of a 6-core, 4TB portable workstation to edit Final Cut Pro 10 on the road. True Tone is also terrific, and I'm glad it's coming to the Mac, but I still want it everywhere. Continuity True Tone it if you have to, but get it on my iMac and Apple TV, please and thank you. And the T2 continues to be the most fascinating architectural improvement to the Mac in years. You just can't beat security at the hardware level, but you really should augment it with great software. Just go to dashlane.com/vector and download the Mac, iOS, Android, Windows, even Linux app for free. It'll generate strong, unique passwords for you, store them, fill them in, and even let you share them whenever and with whomever you need. And because Dashlane is sponsoring this show, you can get a free 30-day trial and save 10% off the features and support of Dashlane Premium. That's dashlane.com/vector. Thank you so much, Dashlane. So there you have it. The new MacBook Pros are here. The new 13-inch starts at $1799, the new 15-inch at $2399, and they're both available today on apple.com and later this week at Apple retail and resellers. So now you've heard what I think of them, and I'd love to hear what you think. Do 6 cores and 32 gigabytes make all your not-for-real pros nightmares go away? Or screw the pros, are you still waiting on the lighter, less expensive MacBook updates? Please hit like, please hit subscribe, and leave a comment below, and thank you so much for watching.